Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 8th grade concept of identifying functions. This is standard 8.5G in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 21 of the 2024 released STAAR test. This is a new item type called multiple select. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we have a multiple select here. We need to select two answers. Notice if I select the first two, it is impossible to select the third. And if I just select one and try to move on, it is going to give me the error message saying I have not completed the entire problem. So it's a 2-point problem, 1 point for each correct answer. Let's get both correct answers. So let's see what we have here. We have a line segment, and it goes right between quadrant 1 or quadrant 2 and then quadrant 4, right through the origin there. And then we need to plot these additional points on the grid. Take a look at these additional points. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy them here so that we can slide this up. So we're going to plot these points here. And then the big key is going to be this whole idea of a function. We're going to need to define that. And unfortunately, the definition is not found on your reference materials. All right, so let's slide this up so we can bring those with us. Perfect. So we need to plot these points with a segment to show y as a function of x. The key word here is function. All right, so what does a function mean? Well, a function is a relationship that shows that each input has exactly or only one output. Now, when we are dealing with x and y coordinates, right, we typically will use our x as our input, because that is what we call our independent variable. And then our y is going to be our output, right? You do something to the x. You multiply it, you add to it, you subtract to it, you square it, something like that. And then you get your output, which is y. That's your dependent variable. So each input, x, has exactly one y. Okay? So then let's graph these points. Let's see what we have here. See, our grid is not exactly perfect. We can't necessarily use the grid because you see the lines don't necessarily match up, and you can only put points on the intersections of the lines of the grid, so we'll just use our draw feature here. So we've got a 3 x, and then our y is -6, so that -6 is going to be right down there at the very edge. All right, so that's going to go right there. We've got our -1, 6, so that goes up at the very top, right? We've got our 1, -6, so it's another -6, 1, -6. We've got our 0, 2, and then we've got our -2, 4. -2 goes up to 4. All right, so we've got a few different ways we can look at this. First, if we just extend the line, right, try to extend this line, what's going to make the most sense? It's going to be these two, right? But even more than that, remember I said that each input, each x, has to have exactly one y. Let me show you three that are problematic. You see this point right here, 0, 0? Well, we also have a 0, 2. You can't have two different y values for the same x. Each x, 0, needs to only go to one spot. Same with this right here. You see how I've got a spot right here that's -1, 2? Well, you also can't have the same spot that's -1, 6. That's not going to work. And then this one also doesn't work down here because it's got two different y values for the same x. So what we need here are going to be this 3, -6, and then that -2, 4.